This is Julien, and I'm here in Amsterdam, and what I want to talk about in this video here is one of the saddest things ever, which is this habit of waiting that we're conditioned to have. Waiting to jump at an opportunity, waiting to invest in ourselves, waiting to be happy, waiting to take our lives to the next level. What are you waiting for? Okay, we're gonna jump into a segment from last night's live event that is going to snap you out of this pattern of just being stuck in life and open you up to a whole world of possibilities. Enjoy. People who save their money when they're younger, when they're in their teens or even 20s, saving money. What are you thinking? That's when you invest in yourself. You save when you're older. You know what would happen if I took on that mindset, like you must save your pennies? And a lot of books say it. You know, you read books like financial books, like save your pennies, be very smart, don't tip too much. When you're with your friends, split the bill, so on and so forth, like split it exactly. Doesn't matter what they think of you, split it exactly. If you find a penny on the floor, pick it up because it's an extra penny. Save your money. Now, in a certain, let's just say, context, it's great advice. But if I did that, okay, what happened to me when I first moved to LA, I was working like some dead-end job at a Coffee Bean, which is like a shittier version than a Starbucks. That was me wearing the fucking Coffee Bean, like, coffee, sir, latte. That was my job. Then I did like a clothing store, selling like some, not even good clothes, just random clothes. I'm like, whoa, make some money there. And I double shift. If I saved my money, I would be fucked. I'd be saving pennies, literally saving pennies. I'm like, well, you know what, it's 2019 and you know, I got like a few thousand saved, but I saved my pennies. I'd literally be working the same fucking job, screwed. Because I didn't jump at any opportunities and I didn't take any risks. You don't save when you're younger, you spend your fucking money when you're younger. You don't save shit, you invest in yourself so that you make money and you save it when you're older. If you're saving it when you're younger, you're playing the wrong game. Stop conserving resources. Stop playing it so fucking safe. Put yourself out there, invest in yourself, cultivate skills, new opportunities, and make money when you're older. Literally, this whole play it safe fucks us up so much. And it's very harsh, and I know that conditioning is against it, and there might be a few of you who's like, well, fuck that, I'm still saving my little fucking euros. I'll see you in 20 years still saving those euros. High risk, high return. Fucked as it gets, but it's true. And here's what I'll say, if it clicks with you, or when it clicks with you, is that the fact that it doesn't click with most people is actually great in terms of your own advantage. The fact that most people hold back and they're like, I must be 100% ready, is why I'm here. Because I'm not smarter than most people, I'm just a regular fucking guy. You know I'm here? Because everyone holds back. Literally, everyone's so scared. They're like, I must be perfect. I must be prepared for the test. But you fail to realize in life, 50% of learning about what it takes to do well in that test comes from experience. It comes from jumping in before you're ready. And the fact that no one jumps in and everyone plays it so safe is why it's so easy to get ahead. Right? Fucked, but true. And my advice to you is change that approach. Stop playing it so safe. Stop thinking that you can have everything aligned and be fully prepared before a certain opportunity. You never can. You want to know why? Because you can always be more prepared. Now, that doesn't mean go delusional. We're like, I don't need any preparation. No. Be smart about it, but you can always be more prepared. So if there's right now something you could do, some situation you could jump into, something you could invest in that you know might get that return, do it. And if you're younger, take the fucking hit. That's when you pay your dues. That's when you take the hit. Because when you're older, it's a lot harder. It doesn't mean it's too late. If you're older, you're like, oh, fuck, I did save the money. I'm at the fucking coffee store still. Fuck my life. You can still take the hit. But it's a lot harder. Even for me, right now, it's a lot harder to take a hit than when I was fucking in my 20s. Way harder. So take the hit when you're younger. Take the hit as well when there's less responsibility. If you're in a relationship now, you have a family, it's a lot harder to take a hit. You're like, well, fuck, that might affect them. When you're young, you have nothing to lose. So why not just jump in? You don't make money by saving money, you make money by spending money. And that sounds really harsh. People hate it because they view it as like this precious fucking, resource, like the money. the euros. Do I have any? It's like, yes, these fucking euros. And literally, like society trains us like this. You go to bed and you place this on your nightstand. You're like, think about the money. Let me sleep. The money. My God, the money. Yes. It's like, no. Like, what is this? And it's cliche, but it's true. If you think about it, what the fuck is this? Can you eat it? Can you fuck it? Then what is it? You know? It's literally nothing. This will do nothing for you. Take a zombie apocalypse. Are you going to save this shit? No, it's the last thing you take with you. That's how you should judge your life, is if a zombie apocalypse was upon you, what would you take? You know? It means absolutely nothing. The reason you have this is to create more opportunities. That's literally it, or to give you more access to things. It's not to save it, you know? Yeah, so invest in yourself. Like, you're smart. You're like, okay, here's where I'm at in life. Here's where I want to go. What are some opportunities open to me? Okay, if I do this, this will be the return, ideally. What do I have to pay? Is it worth it? Yes. Am I going to go in debt? Yes. Right now, if I just save, what's the opening? That would be the best way to put it. What's the opening? If I just save my money right now, because sometimes it makes sense to save or invest and just live off investments, what's the opening of where I want to go? Me at the coffee shop was no opening. Oh, you save? There is no opening. That's your life. You'll be 40 in the coffee shop. You might be the manager, though. Oh, okay? No offense. You get free coffee. But that's it. I invest in myself here. I might lose some, but is there a bigger opening? Yes. Done. What about this? It even widens the opening. So you just keep riding that fucking opening. But that's one thing that really holds us back, though. It's like we try to play it safe. We try to save. We're conditioned that way. And we just block off so many opportunities. Don't take that frame of mind. Beyond that, when it comes down to taking a certain risk in your life, I would highly recommend writing down, and don't just think about it, actually write it down. What is the worst case scenario if everything goes to shit here? Okay? It's like, oh, I got to do this thing. I got to spend this money. What's the worst case scenario? Because the way our mind works is we overblow shit. We're like, man, I'm going to die. You're not going to die. And you all know this. Like, there's so many opportunities in your life where you're like, I just can't. Why? Because I feel like I'm going to die if it doesn't work. But you're not actually going to die. I felt, and I talked about this in videos, when I moved to America, I felt like I was going to die. I'm like, if this doesn't work, it's over for me. You guys ever heard of the term burning the boats? Yeah? It comes from like Troy, when they invaded Troy. It's like, let's burn the boats so we can't escape. So it just gets you in that mindset where it's like, you better fucking win the city or you're dead. There's no plan B. And I took that on when I moved to LA. I'm like, you know what? I'm quitting university. I'm going to LA. No plan B. Burn the boats. You better succeed or you're gonna die. But am I really gonna die? Say I don't succeed. Say I'm not here and I'm still living in the fucking coffee place, just drinking coffee. What's the worst case scenario? I go back to Switzerland and I go back to university. That's literally the worst case scenario. But in my mind, I was all pumped up. I'm like, it's death. It's not death. That's the worst case scenario. You just go back home. Right now, if you're like, man, if I do this and I lose my money, I got to quit my job, so on and so forth. What's the worst case scenario? You find a similar job. If you get fired right now, you'll find your way back to where you're at. You want to know why? Because we have a ceiling of success, but also a floor of success. This is how much success you believe deep down inside at a core you deserve. And what you'll notice when it comes to self-sabotage, which we're going to talk about, as soon as you go a little above this, you will find a way back. However, you also have a floor, where if you go beneath this, you could say your sense of urgency kicks in, your faculties activate, and you will easily find a way back to this. If you're in this room right now, and you have a job, and you're open to some of these ideas, I doubt you will end up being homeless. I doubt it. It takes quite a lot to be homeless, or it takes quite a lot to completely fuck up your life. Right now, you could take the craziest risks. I highly doubt you could completely fuck up your life. That takes a lot. You'll see you're just going to start going down, and once you pass that, you'll immediately find a way back. Another thing where if you fail, it's like, what's the worst case scenario? Never as bad as we think. But let's just say it does happen. The other question is it worth it? Yes or no? is failure worth it? Even if you don't succeed and you succeed some, is it still worth it? Or even just for the experience, is it worth it? And most of the time, the answer is yes. Okay? I would see this for years back in the day where I teach guys how to go out and say, talk to girls. And their biggest fear was like, if I say hi to her and she's with a guy, the guy's gonna beat me up. Now, that's actually never happened that I've seen. I've personally never been in a fight yet. After this event, motherfucker, why are you hating on Cuff? Never been in a fight yet, but it's never happened that I've seen. But I know it does. And if that's your concern, just sink into this. Say it does happen. Say there's a guarantee, you know what? If you go out for the next couple years, you can go say hi to a lot of girls, have great experiences, but one day, some guy's gonna beat the shit out of you. Is it still worth it? Yes or no? Hell yeah. Yeah, if I look back at my life and I'm like, dude, you could have all those amazing experiences, like tons of awesome relationships, friendships, so on and so forth, but one day, some guy's gonna beat the shit out of you. Beat me up! Literally, beat me up now and give me that. So think about it. What's the worst case? Never as bad. And even if it happens, totally worth it. So you have nothing to lose, right? Nothing at all. It also makes life more interesting when you take different risks. If your life, and sink into the optimal situation, like I'm just gonna plan everything and play it very safe and very calculated, and say it all works out, right? Or is that just me? Do you want a calculated life that goes according to plan the entire way through? No, that's not life, that's boring. That's literally like playing a video game where you already know all the answers. You're just like, oh, God mode, Mario Kart, just like that's the race. It might sound fun if you're someone who's always losing. If you're always losing, like everyone know Mario Kart here? Yeah? It's like you start and immediately someone bumps you off and you always lose. You're like, you know what? Give me that fucking star. Give me that God mode. But if you're someone who's playing, it's like, that's not fun. The God mode is not fun. You want the unpredictability. You want the spiciness that is life. You want the risk. You want the contrast. You want the ups and downs. You don't just want to succeed all the time. You also want to fail. But we don't acknowledge that in our world either. We're like, failure is bad. Fuck no, failure is awesome. It adds to the contrast. Also, what is failure? Failure is only when you just give up right after. If you keep going, it adds to the story. Right? Did you not hear, like, probably actually a lot of my stories, I'm talking about my journey there, and it involves a lot of failures. But it's not failure, it's just contrast. If I go up in like my first public speaking experience, I freak out. I'm like, and I'm like super shy. I'm like, I'm talking, but I'm so shy. Oh my God, I ran out of things to say. And say I just like freeze, and everyone's staring like, what the fuck, who's this guy? I'm like, thank you very much, and just walk off. One could call that failure. But if in the next live event, I show up and I start my event that way, I'm like, hey everyone, last week I got really stifled. A couple days ago, got really stifled. I ran off. And you know what I realized? This, and this, and look at me now. That's not failure, that's glory, right? If I was just like, you know what guys and gals, I just showed up and my first event was 10 out of 10. And you know what? It's still 10 out of 10. Boring. No? So jump in different situations. Get your senses tingling. Live the ups and downs that is life. Remember too, you can never fully be ready. No one is ever ready. And actually the more you say work on yourself or climb up, you could say the social ladder, being very modest and being very cool, the more you see behind the scenes, and the more you see how no one knows what the fuck they're doing, and everything is chaos. Swear to God, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane. I always thought it was just me. It's like, my life is such a mess. And then you see other people's lives, and you're like, oh, I'm actually in the 1%. Then you see other businesses. You look at like, oh, my business is a mess, the back end, the fucking calls and shit, it's all this chaos. And then you see other businesses who you believe are ahead of you. And when you see their back end, you're like, wow, it's actually worse than mine. We're all just so good at conserving a certain front, whether it's personal or business-wise. But if you're a fucking business owner or you work in a business, you know how fucking chaotic your back end is. That is every business. No one is ready. No one will ever be ready. We're all just fucking winging it. But the people who get ahead are the people who still jump in before that. They let go of that bullshit belief where it's like, one day I will be ready. You will never, because you can always be more ready. So start jumping in. And remember, half of it comes from experience. I remember I was talking to Ryan Holiday, who is an author. He wrote a ton of amazing books. My favorite is Trust Me, I'm Lying. Great book. And we were talking, and he was saying, you know what? It's funny how back in the day, you know, or even today, people still believe in that notion where it's like you could write a book and lock yourself up in some cabin in the woods, right? That's like kind of like the cliche, or a band will do this. You know, I just need to isolate myself in the woods and just sit down with myself for like 6 months to a year and write out the perfect book, right? Just gonna write it out, just gonna write out that song, make an awesome album on a farm somewhere, and then come back and impress everyone. And that used to be the thing. However, that's not the best way of going about it. And what he says is the way that he writes his books is instead of isolating himself, he'll write a blog post, as an example, on an idea of the book, and he'll share it with the public. And then he'll get feedback, he'll get comments, he'll get criticism, and he'll then tweak it from there. So it's this back and forth process where it's not just like, this is what I like it too. It's something that we're building together, right? So he can't just sit down and think of the perfect thing. It comes also from experience. The same with, if you look at what I'm doing here. If you followed my YouTube for a long time, and you followed it when it first came out, the Julien Himself channel. At first, it was like these self-help topics kind of all over the place. They were really good, and very smart, and very amazing, but they weren't like the best of the best. They were very generic. However, with time, what happened, not by just thinking or pre-planning, but by doing and thinking, I started to find this unique angle, which is what I teach now. I couldn't have come up with this if I was just sitting at home thinking about it. And that's what we do. We're sitting at home. What's the perfect course of action? It'll never come to you. You can get a glimpse, but the other half comes from trial and error. It comes from first-hand experience. You got to jump in. If you think about the worst-case scenario when it comes to taking a certain risk or pursuing a certain dream, you're like, what if I fail? What you have to realize is that you not taking action on it equals failing, right? We're always afraid to commit to something. But what you have to understand is that by not committing, you're still committing to something. You're committing to staying right here, to being stuck. You cannot not commit, right? You cannot not commit. You're always committing to something. So whatever you do, even if it fails, it's always better than you just staying here. Why? Because you get the experience, you get the story. And it just adds to the glory that is the movie that is your life. You know? And it's super cliche, I know, but I remind myself of that every day. What's my movie? If someone was watching the movie of me. Now we hate this. We're like, well, who am I? I'm just a peasant. I'm just a peon. That's what we're conditioned to believe. But no, imagine someone watched a movie of you. How would you live your life so that movie would be the fucking Oscar-winning movie? People would be like, oh, shit. If you ever have trouble making a decision, what should I do? Which direction should I go in? Cheesy, but it works. I do it to this day. I take a fucking coin. Swear to God, €2 is I go right. The fucking head thing is I go left. And then I flip it. I don't look, but you have to actually flip it. And then you ask yourself, what side am I secretly hoping is showing? And there's always going to be 0.1% towards one of the sides, and now you know. But you have to actually go through the motions of flipping it, and right when you're about to look, you'll feel it. And now you know what to do.
We live in an uncertain world. Just turn on the news, what do you see? Chaos, terror, suffering. Things are changing so fast that your head is spinning. You know the feeling, being pulled in different directions by your friends, your family, mainstream media, not knowing what to do or who to believe. Did you ever stop and ask yourself, how did your life get this way?
I felt so much shame when it comes to being me, and now I don't feel that shame anymore.
I had no way of being able to deal with that pain, and for the first time in my life, I finally feel an inner stillness and peace in myself.
I didn't even know what was happening. Like, my hands were just shaking. And it was just like me being my authentic self.
Most of us live lives of escapism, anything to cope with this feeling eating us up inside. Distracting ourselves with dumb things on TV, numbing ourselves with junk food, alcohol, cigarettes, and drugs. Is this the way life was meant to be, or is there perhaps another way?
It's been the first time in over 10 years since my dad died that I actually felt like I did before.
I've decided to take a stance for good, for love, for authenticity. And I've created a movement of people dedicated to raising the vibe. A movement dedicated to doing something about this, and it's called Transformation Mastery Academy.
That was amazing, just being able to finally find that root reason.
I really want to thank each and every one of you out of the bottom of my heart. Thank you, guys.
Now, I'm not some fake guru promising you overnight results. What I promise you here is a tribe of people to help support you and guide you along this journey. In Transformation Mastery Academy, you'll no longer be alone. You'll no longer feel lost. You will be given the roadmap to true, permanent personal transformation. Enough with this fake life of quiet desperation. Step into your truth and join the movement.